What's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another vid. Well, I gotta call somebody out, man. I have to do this. Shout out to the brother Dream Chasing Boxing. He told me not to do this. Completely ignore the guy, which I have. I've ignored him for, a few weeks now. But sometimes you just can't sit back at the sidelines and not let certain individuals get away with all the crap that they spew, okay? I'm not going to mention his name because if I do, it may increase his subscriber counts or his view counts, which he's hell bent on trying to do for such a long period of time now, which has been an utter failure because he has way more videos than he has subscribers. And he's dedicated his entire platform, his channel, on ridiculing big channels in the LDBC, big channels in the YTBC, whatnot, ridicule them, under the fact because they're black, whatnot, and we all know he's a known bigot. So he and his part of crew have one time, they praise the IBF for being very bullish or, very strict with their mandatories and whatnot when it comes to their mandatory title fights, and then turn around and get upset when the IBF comes out and they have enforced their mandatory title fight with Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. So I'm going to play this video right here that he just put out, which is titled, I'm not going to mention the title, but I'm going to play the video and I'm going to pick this guy out part piece by piece.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm glad that the LDVC is still pushing their bullshit.
Yeah, just like you.
Stuff,
Hold on. Just like you. You push your bullshit all the time, attacking them, policing them for no reason whatsoever. But it is you. That's what you like to do. But let's continue.
Fucking Anthony Joshua any respect. Anthony Joshua.
Wrong. They do give him respect. The only thing is that when it comes to this potential rivalry between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, of course they're going to support their countryman, which is Deontay Wilder. So you're wrong right there. They don't disrespect him. They actually respect him a lot. So let's continue.
Just won a huge, significant unification fight.
Yes, he did.
Wilder still hasn't done fucking anything.
Really?
Can't you guys get that through your fucking head? Now that Anthony Joshua is the biggest name in boxing, that does not make fucking Deontay Wilder a big name in boxing.
Really? So Anthony Joshua is the biggest name in boxing? Well, we can agree to that because now you just admitted that Gennady Golovkin never was the biggest name in boxing because at one point you said he was, which in reality he wasn't. So, contradiction right there, my friend. Let's continue.
He wasn't fighting big names before, so stop acting like fucking, for some reason, because you guys think all of a sudden he deserves a big fight, that everyone needs to stop, move over, and make room for him.
Well, he is the champion, so why does he not deserve a big fight? You said that he didn't do shit. Well, he did beat a top 10 guy before he got the shot at the WBC title, which was Malik Scott. Yes, it was a dive. I'll admit that it was a dive. Scott took a blatant dive in that fight, but the fact is that fight was a WBC title eliminators. Whoever the winner would be the mandatory challenger to the winner of was it Stavern and Ariella for the vacant title. So yeah, you got to give him credit for that, but you won't. Let's continue.
He is not fucking important.
He's not important? I just said that he is the champion, so why is he not important? Yeah, dumbass response. But let's go ahead and continue.
He is not the biggest fight waiting on the horizon for Anthony Joshua.
Yes, he is.
So he is obviously not going to get ushered into a position over potential fights with Klitschko or Fury. That's just the way.
Well, first of all, if you're clamoring for a Fury fight, that's not going to happen anytime soon because Tyson Fury is going to take him at least about a year and a half to get back into the shape that he used to be, given the fact that he abused his body with a lot of substance and not keeping his shape, not regularly training whatsoever. So that fight's not going to happen anytime soon. So get that out of your head. The only closest fight that's possible is a unification bout with either Wilder or Joseph Parker. So let's continue. Get that in your head, stupid.
It is. He's going to have to wait his ass, do some work, finally, and wait until the opportunity comes, until he actually is worth fighting.
He is worth fighting for.
That actually can generate fucking money and generate a big fight.
Actually, he can. He could do that, you know. So I'm not saying Deontay Wilder is a big troll in the United States. No. I'm not saying that. But he does carry some significance given the fact that he is a champion, one. He is a medalist, two. He is a bronze medalist. And three, he does provide some bit of excitement that crowds like to see. Knockouts, explosions. So he does generate some clout here, okay? So we do understand that he's not a big name here in the States, but at the same time, Anthony Joshua is a big name himself now, given the fact that he is growing his popularity in the States. So it would make sense to have a gold medalist versus a bronze medalist in a unification fight for the world heavyweight title. And that is a possibly pay-per-view fight. In fact, Eddie Hearn has been on record saying that he wants to set up that fight here in the States. So between Wilder and Joshua. So are you now disagreeing with Eddie Hearn is trying to do here with this potential matchup? Let's continue. Apparently you are.
Because at this point, he's no fucking better than fucking Parker. Both of them are title fights. Neither of them is a big name.
So they're not a big name, but yet they're title holders. So you're saying you're not for a unification bout for Joshua to fight those two guys? Yeah, so basically, I don't know, because it gets a little strange here with your video here, but I'm going to go ahead and continue.
Them really draws huge, but Parker draws bigger, right? So obviously he ranks fucking over Wilder. So you guys can keep pushing this stuff and call everything racism and Wilder hate. Whereas, where were you guys a month and a half ago? Where were you guys when fucking Luis Ortiz was calling out Wilder? You guys still don't comment on that, do you?
Actually, we did. Oh, I'm not sure about the other guys, but I know I commented on that. I called out Wilder for that bullshit right there when he dismissed Luis Ortiz. So, yeah. And some of the other guys in LDB, so I think they did as well. They called out Wilder for that too as well. So, yeah, let's continue.
You ignore that completely. He blatantly ducks Jarrell Baby fucking Miller, who asked him out to fight when he needed a fighter to take the place. He ducked him. Then he needed some.
Well, you're actually kind of wrong about that, because Deontay Wilder and Jarrell Big Baby Miller actually confronted each other on a live radio station, and they were willing to get, Wilder was willing to make that fight happen, okay? He was willing to make that fight happen. He said it to Big Baby Miller's face on that radio. I'll post a link to that damn interview if you want to take a look at it and hear it for yourself. He was ready to get down whenever the time and place for Big Baby Miller. For some reason, Big Baby Miller has been missing in action ever after the Fred Cassie fight. Now, again, it's kind of funny though, because they were going at it leading up to Miller's fight against Cassie. So I don't know. Big Baby has been, he's been missing in action, so we don't know what's going on with him. So I don't see where Wilder ducked Big Baby Miller. Let's continue.
Ready to fight. Ortiz called him out. He ducked him.
Yeah, I agree. He did.
Wilder has blatantly ducked fucking guys again and again. But you want to push this fucking propaganda that everybody's ducking Wilder. Because.
Well, it's true. Zars Glaskov ducked him. And right now, Joseph Parker's camp is not keen on fighting Wilder right now. They want to take on a couple tune-ups, which is okay. That's fine. But they don't dismiss the fact that that fight will be down the road. So, and for some reason, Eddie Hearn and his team, they're not, I read somewhere that they're not trying to focus on, they're not trying, I read something right, I'm not Eddie Hearn, let me take that back. I read something within the lines that Anthony Joshua didn't mention Deontay Wilder when he was asked about who he wanted to fight next, potentially. So, although Eddie Hearn wants to make that fight down the road, but yeah. So, yeah, Wilder is pretty avoiding himself too. Let's not get it twisted. And yes, he's been very dismissive and avoided Luis Ortiz. I'm not going to deny that. So you can't say that he's been ducking every fighter. I don't know which fighters you're talking about other than Luis Ortiz. Let's continue.
Because Parker has a fight this weekend, so how's he ducking anybody, right? And it was supposed to be a big fight with Cousin Fury. And AJ just won a super fight. We're still waiting for Wilder to do anything significant this fucking year.
Yeah, we are. It's coming.
But let's get back to the point. So, unlike some of these channels, I don't like to go on and say I'm old school, blah blah blah, and try to separate myself from the rest of the fight fans.
Of course not, because your dumbass don't know anything about boxing history, although you proclaim that you did know it. But when you got on a live hangout with me and the librarian, you failed miserably when we questioned you on your boxing knowledge and its history. So, yeah, let's continue.
I'm a boxing fan. Everybody has their own particular fucking way of doing things and own interest and everything else.
And you know what? What's up with you and this word fuck, man? Fuck. In every video, you say, like, you recite the word fucking, like, what, 50 or 60 times, man? Damn, get over it. Let's continue.
Mine is mine. I mean, I like the concept of a unified champion.
You do?
You know...
You do? Then why did you protest against Julius Odongo versus Terrence Crawford a few weeks ago? But you know, I'm getting a little ahead of myself in that situation because I'm going to call you out on your hypocrisy on that. Let's continue.
Guy who is the top of the top, so that everybody knows who the top guy is, and then we know who...
Oh yeah, speaking of that, you're saying you're not against unification bouts, but just the first 3 minutes of video, you went out and you were protesting the fact that Wilder should not be fighting Anthony Joshua right now. That's a unification fight. The same thing with Joseph Parker. You're saying that Joseph Parker doesn't deserve to fight Anthony Joshua right now. That's what you just said. So let's continue.
Who the guys are ranked under him. It's a much better way to have boxing in any sport go, because then you can see the guys in the top 10 fighting and you see the significance in those fights. How it moves them up, puts them in a potential position to fight the champion for the world titles.
Talk about right? The IBF.
So we're happy when Golovkin is very close. We are happy when Kovalev and now Ward is very close.
Yeah, Golovkin was very close until he opted not to fight a unification bout. So you neglect to mention that, right? Yeah, he ducked the unification bout with Saunders. Why? Because he wants the big money fight. So, yeah, let's continue with Canelo Alvarez.
We're happy when Terrence Crawford is very close. And
yeah, by the way, why did you criticize Golovkin for ducking that unification bout with Saunders, huh? Talk about irony. Let's continue.
Now, we're happy that Anthony Joshua is sort of taking over for where Klitschko was. And where Fury was, except he got stripped by the IBF fucking really quick. Somebody told me, and I don't know if this is true or not, I've never seen any news article or anything else to attest for this, but this is what somebody said. Because I never say this, but actually I've never heard it, or if somebody sent it.
My bad. What did I do? Okay, here we go.
Comment, I never read it. That the IBF said they were willing to step aside and let Fury fight Klitschko, but he needed to then fight Glaskov. And Fury basically said, fuck that, I'll never fight the guy. See, I don't think that's fucking the way things are, but maybe it is, but it doesn't sound fucking true to me. They had, obviously, a signed contract for a rematch between Klitschko. And because he followed through on that, basically he got stripped by the IBF. If the IBF really were going to give him a leeway, then they'd fucking give him a leeway and wait to see what he did after that fight, right? And now they're threatening the same thing with AJ. That if he doesn't fight Pulev next, they're going to strip him. The thing I find funny, and I know all these sanctioning bodies are all fucking idiots.
Yeah, they are.
But the only sanctioning body that has tons of empty spaces in their rankings, right, not rated fighters, is the IBF.
Yeah.
Every other fucking division has their top fucking 12, top 15 guys listed. Except for the IBF. Like, how fucking much does this show that they just want to throw fucking snags into the fucking machinery? Here's Anthony Joshua, the winner. You know who the number 1 fucking ranked IBF opponent is? There is none. It's not rated. There's no rated opponent. The number 2 guy is Pulev. Who is number 3? Klitschko. Anthony Joshua just beat fucking Klitschko. So why would he need to then fight Pulev, the number 2 guy, next?
All right, hold up. Okay, first of all, all the sanctioned bodies do have a situation, okay, not just the IBF. The WBA, the WBC, and the WBL, they all have a situation where they have empty slots when it comes to the rankings. That happens all the time. This is nothing unusual. Yes, it may be a little consistent with the IBF, which is kind of strange. I get that. But my thing is this, what you should know, is that when you don't have a number 1 rated guy in the in either sanctioned bodies like the IBF, you're going to go down the list and see who's the next highest ranked opponent, okay? Highest rated fighter, okay? Pulev is the other mandatory, okay? He's the only mandatory there is right now. So if you don't have the number one mandatory, then you have the number two mandatory. What I find very funny is that why are you now complaining that the IBF is now regulated this fight between Pulev and Joshua, has mandated this fight, and yet a few weeks ago, you applauded the IBF for mandate the Adongo and Lipinets fight. Why? Why the fucking hypocrisy, bruh? Let's continue.
Just fought a guy ranked in the top fucking 10. And a guy who's 8, Dillian White, he beat him too. So,
first of all, when Joshua and White fought, they were not rated in the top 10. There were still prospects on the horizon, dummy. Okay? Joshua was ranked probably, 14th or 13th in the world, and Dillian White was ranked maybe number 17 or 18. Okay? After he beat Dillian White, yes, he rose in the rankings, but I don't think he made the top 10. Did he make the top 10 in that after that fight? I think he did. Okay? But he wasn't even made the mandatory challenger to the IBF title when Charles Martin fought him. Charles Martin made a voluntary defense, and IBF granted that to him, for him to fight Joshua. So let's continue.
In the top 10, he's beaten 2 of the top fucking 10 guys.
No, actually, he beat one top 10 guy, as I just explained to you. Dillian White was not ranked in the top 10 when he fought him. Now he is, but at the time when he fought him, he was not ranked in the top 10. So I see where you're going with this little angle. Let's get going.
And one of them, he just did it. So why in the hell of fucking God's name would he need to fight Pulev next, IBF? Explain.
Well, guess what? Julius Ndongo beat 2 top 10 guys to himself. He beat Ricky Burns and Ward Trianoski. So why the hell did you applaud the IBF for mandating the fight with Ndongo and Lipinets? And while Ndongo and his team were trying to get that unification bout with Crawford, right? Yeah, you were against the unification bout then, but now all of a sudden you're against it now for Joshua. So what the fuck, man? I mean, no, I'm saying you're not against you. Now you're for it when it comes to Anthony Joshua. So what the... You really are trying to confuse your audience with your logic, man. You always contradict yourself. So let's continue.
That to me. And how, obviously, he couldn't just rematch fucking Klitschko, who's ranked number 3.
Of course not.
Right? Pulev has not done anything significant to fucking put him in a position where he is a fight that is necessarily needed fucking right away.
Well, he did fight Derek Chisora in an IBF eliminator, so that may count for something, right? He beat him. So, man, you're all over the place. Let's continue.
He could easily fucking wait his chance. He just fought a...
Really? Then why did you tell Sergey Lipinets to wait his chance? Let's continue.
Guy who's not ranked in the top 15. Pulev hasn't beat any of the guys in the top 15. Actually, Pulev was knocked out by Klitschko, who's ranked under him.
Actually, Pulev did beat some guys in the top 15. He beat Ustinov and who's the other guy he beat before he got a shot at Klitschko? Damn, I can't remember. Was it Mike Perez? I have to look it up. Who did Pulev beat? I think it was Mike Perez that he beat as well. I think it was him. Let me check real quickly. Let me look this up. He beat Ustinov, and I think he beat Alexander Demetrenko, who was also rated in the top 15 at the time. Yeah. So those are the 2 he beat, and that's how he became the mandatory. Became the high-ranked fighter at the IBF to get a shot at Klitschko. But yeah, let's continue.
This is the bizarre thing. Why, when I look at these ratings, I just fucking shake my head and think, what the fuck are you guys talking about? What?
What are you talking about?
Joshua just won the WBA belt.
Yeah, Dongo did too.
He's is number 1. But he just beat fucking Klitschko, who's ranked number 2.
Yeah, Dongo beat Ricky Burns, who's rated number 4.
He's next either. Both of those guys obviously are right there, and they're both obviously guys who are going to end up getting their mandatory fucking title shot. But neither of them has earned a fucking shot right away. None of them have fought.
Really? Then we could also say the same thing about Sergey Lipinets. But yeah, you're saying, yeah, he earned his shot, but you're saying Pulev didn't earn his shot? Really? Neither did Ortiz? Okay. Let's continue.
A guy in the top 10 and push themselves really to that position. And the guy under both of them is Klitschko, who Joshua just fucking beat. So if I beat the guy ranked number 3rd, why do I need to then go in my next fight and fight the guy who's number 2? Why?
Of course, that's their mandatory. He's a mandatory. Of course, the IBF is going to regulate that. So, yeah, let's continue.
Can't I have a free fight in my next fight?
Really? Then why did you give Julius Onago the benefit of the doubt? Because that's what he wanted to go against Terrence Crawford. But you were totally against that. Let's continue.
Before then needing to then go through and fight my mandatory. One of my mandatories, right? So you could let fucking Anthony Joshua fight Bellew.
Yeah.
He's willing to take that fight. A rematch with Klitschko, which is going to be bigger than the first one. And then fight fucking Luis Ortiz and Pulev next. One of them.
Wait a minute. Time out. First of all, Vladimir Klitschko is not keen on taking that rematch right away. So that's not going to happen. Not anytime soon. Number 2, I have to take back my last statement about you wanting Joshua to get into a unification bout with Wilder or Parker. Apparently you don't want him to fight those guys. Why is that? Huh? Because one thing, you're saying that Joshua should not be fighting his mandatories right now, but all of a sudden you want him to take on these other 2 guys, Bellew and Klitschko. I mean, it doesn't make any goddamn sense, man. So let's continue, because apparently you're all over the place. You cannot make up your mind whether you say that you praise the IBF for being strict with their rules, and then you're criticizing them for being strict with their rules. So I don't get it. Let's continue.
And then obviously it's going to be a big fight after that, a potential fight maybe with a Parker or a Wilder or a Fury.
Right.
And then he could fight fucking the next guy after that.
Why not? Why not get a unification bout right now?
Fucking opportunity. And the IBF is still getting paid every time fucking Wilder fights because they need to sanction the fight.
Exactly. I said the same thing when I argued my case with Julius Ndongo and Terrence Crawford. We all did. But yet you called us out on it for being crybabies about the IBS rules, you fucking bitch. Now you're being a hypocrite, as I stated before. Let's continue.
So I don't really understand what the issue is. If he fights Klitschko next, he is fighting the IBF number 3 fighter, and he's fighting the WBA number 2 fighter. So in a sense, he's doing what he should do. Look at fucking Rigo. When Rigo was supposed to defend his title, the sanctioning body said, just fight somebody inside the top 15. That's all.
Well, let me shed some light on that, because first of all, you're talking about the WBO, okay? The WBO had mandated a fight between Guillermo Rigondeaux and Chris Avalos, okay? Now, Chris Avalos, for some reason, pulled out of the damn fight, which you gave him a pass for doing. Why? Because he went and fought a fight. He took a fight with Carl Frampton instead, because he felt that that was a more easier fight to win than fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux. Yes, he got paid a little bit more money to do it, but at the same time, he thought that was a much easier route to a championship than fighting goddamn Guillermo Rigondeaux. But yet, you gave Avalos a full pass for ducking the fight with Rigondeaux when he was mandated to take that fight. And guess what? When Carl Frampton was the mandatory challenger to fight Rigondeaux for the WBA title, he vacated it. Well, actually, he vacated the title. Blatantly ducked a man without even negotiating with him. So you gave Frampton a full pass for that. Talk about the irony. Let's continue.
And he didn't. So they stripped him. But Joshua obviously has done that. You know, you can go back and just look at all these fucking ranking divisions for the IBF. At cruiserweight, the number 1 and the number 2 fucking position, Rel or Jesse fucking Hart, or with the IBF, which I don't understand how they do that and how they're the only sanctioning body that fucking has this done. You know, at welterweight, finally, everybody's there. Brooke is number 1, Spence Jr. is all your bullshit and fucking hate. If you look at fucking with the IBF, which I don't understand how they do that and how they're the only sanctioning body that fucking has this done.
Yeah.
You know, at welterweight, finally, everybody's there.
Yeah.
Brooke is number 1. Spence Jr. is number fucking 1 ranked. Jeff Horn is number 2, boys. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, Jeff Horn, who's number 2 in the WBO, and Pacquiao's going to fight him, but it's a terrible fight.
Well, you know what? Let me stop you right there, because first of all, you're propagating that Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao fight so badly by saying, well, Jeff Horn is Olympian. He's undefeated. Well, guess what? Errol Spence is undefeated. He's an Olympian himself. So why did you want to clamor for that fight with potential fight with Pacquiao and Spence opposed to Horn and Pacquiao? Okay. In fact, that Spence has beaten a little bit better opposition than Jeff Horn. That's a fact. And speaking of that, did you also know that Jeff Horn ducked out of elimination bout with Errol Spence? Did you know that? No, you did not. But yet, you're going to give him a pass for doing it, right? Let's continue.
Right, but he's also ranked number 2 fucking by the IBF. You know, you guys are so fucking crazy.
You are.
All your bullshit fucking hate.
Nah, you're a bullshit hater.
Keith Thurman's mandatory. You don't even know who the guy is. Tua fucking Kiram. That's the guy who's ranked number 1. But you're going to hate Pacquiao for fighting Horn. But you guys never even heard of that fucking guy. Tua fucking Kiram. Who is he? At least the WBC has fucking name after name. Garcia, Khan, Porter, Burr, Bradley. Right? For the top 5. That seems legitimate.
Yeah.
The rest, who fucking knows most of these guys?
Wait, is Jeff Horn the mandatory challenger?
Fine.
No, I don't think so.
It's just these empty spots the IBF
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I stop that? Go ahead. My bad.
keeps having in their ranking. At 140, Julius Indongo, a guy who fucking came out of nowhere, wasn't even ranked as number 1 to win a title.
Well, duh, he wasn't, because he was ranked number 15. The reason why he got a title shot is because Triamnovsky ducked out of the unification bout with Terrence Crawford when they were in negotiations. So he opted to take a voluntary defense. Within the IBF rules, if you don't fight your mandatory challenger, the next thing you can do, you can get a waiver, make a voluntary defense, and whoever's rated in the top 15. But guess what? Adongo was rated number 15. So since he was unknown, there was no footage of the guy. Triamnovsky, along with Ryan Binsky, who was his promoter and manager, took the fight as a cherry pick, and it backfired on him. So that's how he became the champion, and that's how he got the shot. So let's continue.
Against fucking Troyanovsky, who's now 7th. Lipinets is number 1. Number 2 is empty. Then you get to lightweight. Robert Easter Jr. is number...
Yeah, so you didn't want to say that Lipinets don't deserve a shot right now because you knew damn well what you said last time, what contradicts what you're saying right now. So let's go ahead.
For 1, he's going to fight his mandatory, Denis Shafikov. Number 2, not ranked. Empty. Raymond Beltran is ranked number 3. What has Raymond Beltran done since he got beat by Terrence Crawford?
Well, he hasn't done much, but what I can tell you is that the reason why he's rated high in number 3 because he has a regional title with the IBF, which is an NABF title. So he won that title, and that's how he was able to get a high ranking with him at lightweight. So let's continue.
At 140. And then super featherweight, 130. Gervonta Davis. Finally, you get a division that's also full. Davis, Walsh, Merrill Barrows, good young fighter. Billy Dibb, I don't know what he's done to push him to this position, but fine.
I don't know either. I don't know how Billy Dibb is still ranked that high.
Who was the champion?
That's one thing I would agree with you on.
Okay. And then featherweight, Selby. Jonathan Barros, who he's supposed to fight, is number 1. Number 2, not rated. Right? And then you have Carl Frampton at number 3, and Virio Simeon, who just got beat by Scott Quigg, so I guess that maybe puts Scott Quigg up to number 2. But the point is, why do you have these fucking openings? At 122, you have Uguni, who just, at Roman Gonzalez beat. It just shows you really how fundamentally fucking wrong boxing is. And basically at the core, this isn't against promoters or other people. This is just against the core fucking foundation of boxing.
Wait a minute. See, here you go. See, you blast channels like me and others for being quote-unquote negative when it comes to boxing. Here you are making a negative video about boxing, a boxing organization. While a few weeks ago, you applaud them for being very strict with their rules. Oh, shit, man. Damn, you're making it too easy for me. Let's continue.
These sanctioning bodies, the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO, who fucking are just consistently pushing their own agendas consistently.
Yeah.
And have no interest or fucking any care in the world for boxing as a whole.
Yeah, we complained about that, about the IBF a few weeks ago, about the Ndongo Crawford situation. But what did you do? You blast me and you blast others for criticizing them for that, but yet you applaud them for that. I hate repeating myself, but I have to do that so that way people get a better understanding about your hypocrisy. But it is what it is. Let's continue.
Even though it doesn't really matter who the fuck is the champion, because all these guys still have to pay sanctioning fees to make fights.
Right.
So then why can't they work fucking together? How come they don't have one fucking person from each of these groups who gets
So you do want a unification bout? Okay, make up your mind. Do you want a unification bout or you don't? Hold up. Make up your mind. Do you want a unification bout or you don't? Because if you do, that's what it seems like now. Now I get a better understanding. So it seems like you do want a unification bout in the heavyweight ranks. That you should push for the unification bout in the junior welterweight ranks with Adongo and Crawford. You should tell the IBF that they should not be mandating that fight between Lipinets and Crawford. So let's continue.
Together to clarify, simplify, and make things fucking for boxing just that much better.
Yeah, we need a unified mandatory challenger.
Position for somebody within all four of these organizations.
Yeah, that's what we need. Exactly, the brother Dream Chaser Boxing made that point. We need a unified mandatory challenger to clean this all up. So that's why he and I, along with others, Little Blood Boxers, has said it best. Unification bouts should always take a priority over mandatories. If the mandatories are keen on fighting, then they should all fight each other within the rankings of the WBO. Whoever's the number one rated fighter in the WBO, he should fight either the number one fighter in the WBA, WBC, or the IBF. They all should be fighting each other so that way we can have the unified number one ranked fighter in every division. So that way, in every sanctioned body, so that way it makes things a lot easier. So let's continue.
Right? And then you would put them together and then they could sort things out so you don't have this kind of fucking bullshit go on again and again.
Well, actually they did. They met about a couple years ago on a conference call. I think, was it a conference call or was some conference in somewhere in Latin America somewhere, I think. The WBO was not present, but they were welcome to send a representative there on their behalf to discuss some type of uniformed situation where they can rank their fighters, such as having a unified a unified ranked contender to that nature. So let's continue.
Like, we know who the two biggest fights right now for Anthony Joshua are: Klitschko and Fury, and then Wilder and Parker, and then Ortiz, right? Those are the best fights.
Well, as I told you, Klitschko's not taking the rematch anytime soon, so that's out of the way. Now, as far as Ortiz, well, yeah, I wouldn't complain about that fight not being made. As far as Fury's concerned, Fury's not coming back anytime soon either. He's going to need a lot more time to get in shape. So what do you want Anthony Joshua to do? Just sit there and wait a whole year and a half until Tyson Fury gets back in shape? It may take up to 2 years for him to get back in shape. As far as Vladimir Klitschko is concerned, we don't know when he's going to invoke his rematch clause. Okay, his brother even came out and said it won't be wise for him to take that rematch. So, yeah, what's the next best possible option to do? Go for unification bout. That's what we all want. We want an undisputed champion. So, let's continue.
Boxing for Anthony Joshua. 2 big money fights, 2 unification fights, and then a guy who is a legitimate fucking guy. You have guys like Pulev, who is legitimate, Povetkin, if he can ever deal with his fucking drug issues, and
it's funny now because now you just said, and I think I already said this in the title of my broadcast, you being a hypocrite. You just said that a unification bout should always take priorities over mandatories. That's what you just said now. What a total flip-flop from what you said 3 weeks ago. Let's continue. Let's finish this up.
Then a few other guys who are top 10 ranked guys who aren't bad. If you give Joshua the chance to actually fight these guys, then maybe we can get one champion and he will fucking consistently go through and clean out this division, much like fucking Klitschko did. But you can't be stripping a guy.
Well, it's funny that you say that because you said that Andre Ward never cleaned out his division as super middleweight, right? The only guy he didn't fight there was Lucien Boutte. Okay, we can all agree he didn't fight Butte. All right, we all know that. I'm sorry, let's not agree. We all know he didn't fight Butte. All right, but yet you said that Vladimir Klitschko cleaned out his division, which I do agree he did. But the only people he didn't fight was his brother Vitaly. He didn't rematch with Corey Sanders, who knocked him the fuck out, and he didn't rematch with Ross Purity. So why is Klitschko getting credit in your book for cleaning out a division, not Andre Ward? Nor he didn't fight Deontay Wilder. He didn't fight Joseph Parker. He didn't fight Bermane Stiverne. He didn't fight Mully Scott and all the other guys and so forth. So why does Klitschko get credit for cleaning out his division, which he should in his early stages of in his early run of his career as a lineal champion, while Andre Ward doesn't get credit for cleaning out his division, which he clearly did. The only guy he didn't fight was Lucien Butte. So yeah, let's continue. Hypocrite.
Before you even let him try to do anything, which is really what's just mind fucking numbing when it comes to boxing.
Yeah, the word fuck, man. You keep saying it. Come on, get to the point.
Complain about and all the things that should be complained about. I mean, obviously the sanctioning body issues are.
Yeah, you're complaining. So why are you attacking us for complaining about the injustice that goes on in boxing? And yet here you are doing this in this video with the IBF. Let's continue.
Are number one. When we talk about scoring of fights and this and that, well, maybe if you get all these sanctioning bodies together, we can fucking create a foundation, a committee, a boxing committee worldwide to fucking clarify these things, hold refs and judges accountable, and this way also have a pool of guys so that for championship fights, you don't need hometown advantaged fucking dudes in the US being involved in fights. When all over the world they get refs and judges from other countries to take those fights. Only in the States you get this one-sided American lopsided sort of fucking deal going on. But if you created this, then you could deal with this. You have people who then watch the fights, see how guys did, evaluate them, put them in a ranking system.
Yeah, get to the point.
And then put fighters in a position where now they need to fight fucking guys, regardless of promotional deals.
All right, I'm going to stop right there. So basically, you now want the rules to be reformatted with the IBF. So now you're saying that they should not be too strict with their rules. You're saying they should have some type of discretionary policy to give fighters some type of exemption. Well, again, you didn't say that 3 weeks ago when this whole, when they ordered the fight between Ndongo and Lipinets. So all I got to say is you got to work on your consistency. I'm not gonna mention your name, but it is what it is. So yeah. Man, this is too fun. All I gotta say is let me know what your thoughts about this hypocrisy and the double standard with this guy. I'm out.